gone.
And hello, welcome to solo playthroughs. My voice sounds amazing. It's been a minute. I mean, I guess it's only been 6 days, but it feels like forever, especially coming off a 11 weekday in a row streak that I was on. If you've noticed, my schedule has not been the most accurate. I do apologize for that. I was supposed to do a Final Girl last Thursday, and we're doing a bunch of work on my house, and unfortunately we had to disconnect the internet last Thursday to finish some part of the project. So I had no internet on Thursday. I wasn't going to stream on Friday. I was hoping to stream yesterday, and again our internet was still out because in doing some work we accidentally pinched our fiber cable. So that had to be replaced, and I'm also a little bit sick. So I was hoping to do a doubleheader today. That is not going to happen. There's no way my brain can handle this and then Gloom of Kilforth. So I'm going to come back tomorrow, do Gloom of Kilforth. I punted Spirit Island to next week. So I'm still going to get 4 live streams on the channel this week. At least that's the plan. But we're going to do Final Girl today, and I'm excited about this. If someone could tell me in the chat that everything is good, if I sound terrible, that is just, I'm sorry. Woo! I don't know what I have, but it's kicking my ass a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. So, but happy to be able to do this, just to kind of get my feeling well enough to do this. I feel strong about that. So we're gonna go with Incanyamba at the Sacred Groves. Incanyamba and the Sacred Groves is the Slaughter at the Sacred Groves feature film, and that also comes with 2 Final Girls, as all the feature films do. And we have Adelaide. Adelaide has her special item, which I do have in the item decks already. Again, if you don't know what the special items are, look harder. I will be doing Adelaide for sure. There are some things that she does that I think are super important. Incanyamba and the Sacred Groves is very hard. I think that Incanyamba is probably similar to Geppetto in that I think he would be more fun in another location. And I think other killers would make a lot of sense in the Sacred Groves. I think I could see Hans coming in here. I could see, even Geppetto. Again, if you go through like my thought of the feature films, all from season 1, it's all I have is season 1. I don't have any of the series 2 feature films. I do like Frightmare Maple Lane a lot. I like Camp Happy Trails a lot. I like Geppetto. I don't like the carnival. I think the carnival is just a little bit too swingy. I hate the fact that you're not encouraged to search because the traps are just, I think they're kind of silly, and really short circuit that part of the game in a way I really don't like. And I really don't like the poltergeist, but I do like the house. So the fact that these are all mix and match, I think is really cool. Incanyamba is interesting in that I love Incanyamba and what he does, and I love the Sacred Groves and what it does. I just don't like the 2 combined because you're adding both a killer wrath track and a divine wrath track, and the 2 of them together are super gross, because they stack on each other in a way that doesn't always feel fair. Now look, this is a game, if you want a super balanced solo game, I wouldn't recommend Final Girl. I think you're playing Final Girl more for the experience, and you will be able to pull off your occasional wins, and maybe not so occasional wins depending on how good you are and how much you've developed your strategies. But trying to if it was only one of the wrath tracks, you have this extra action called Atonement that would give you a chance to really stay on top of one of the 2. The fact that you have 2 wrath tracks that you're trying to stay on top of at the same time can really make some really wild swings, and you'll just have turns where it's like you won't even get an action because the divine wrath makes you lose 4 time, and then Inkanyamba goes, and he's gonna attack you twice, raise the horror meter, so it can really snowball in a way that's not the most fun of the final girl experiences. At least not for me. So, but it's super cool. It's cool to see like the system. Every feature film adds layers to what the system can be and what it can do. And by far, I think if just from, I think for me, Frightmare and Camp Happy Trails are, a cut above the rest. I would put probably this in the third, probably my third favorite from series one, just for the mixed matchability with the others. So this is probably comes in slightly higher for me than the uh, the other one, than Geppetto and the Carnival of Blood. Private Vendetta, hey Greg, everything is fine. Tony Oates, Avi, okay. Sorry, you're not feeling good. Thank you, sir. It is what it is. I will bring the energy as much as I can. Mornings are rough. Afternoons have been better. Evenings are rough, but we've all been there. It's one of those things. So, let's go ahead and we're going to set the final health. I'm going to get a D10 over here, and we're going to get one of the. Look at a D8 as well. D10, D8. So D10. So again, these are randomly arranged. I do not know what's on the back of those. Remember, 6 of these final health tokens are blank. One has 1 health remaining. One has 2 health remaining. One has 3 health remaining. I rolled a 9, so we'll put this here for Inkanyamba. And now we got to get one for Adelaide. Bam, that's a 4, and we're going to put that here. We have our item decks. We're going to shuffle these. Our one item deck. There will be 3 locations where we can search. I do have the location board shifted over. Mind you, this is everything you're seeing is a review copy sent to me by Ryder Games. They sent me two feature films. I bought a third feature film, and they sent me the core box. And then at PAX Unplugged, they just gave me everything. So I really appreciate them looking out and supporting the channel in that way. The one that is weird about this mat is it doesn't really fit for Inkanyamba and the Sacred Grove, so everything just had to get shifted over to the right a little bit. So we'll make use of the mat the best we can. And I am trying to shuffle Private Vendetta, but by the way, I caved and got down to the Zeds. That's what I'm talking about. I have no other impact on the board gaming world than more people buying and enjoying Dawn of the Zeds. I will feel like I have accomplished my mission with this channel. So we're going to put 3 items face down and 1 face up for the Welcome Center. So that is a pepper spray. Could be super helpful. It really helps short circuit the killer phase once for the game. It is a discard thing, so you have to discard it. Sorry about that. Yeah, you have to discard it to make it work. The Tribal Mask. Whenever you receive damage, choose. Ooh, that's super interesting. Whenever you receive damage, I can choose one of the wraths and have them reduced by the amount of damage I received. Now, obviously, I don't want to receive that much damage, and I did do 3 face down there. That is correct. And then, last but not least, we're going to have items at the Groundkeeper's Shed. And we have our War Club. Whenever you inflict damage with the War Club, choose that. I like a lot. It's a 2-handed weapon, but it's super cool. I get to choose, again, Killer Wrath or Divine Wrath, and we decrease it by the amount of damage I inflict. That sounds more like what I want to do. All right, we're going to take the setup cards. We have 5 special tokens over here. We have our special victims over here. I do have Inkanyamba, his mini over here. For the for the camera, I'm going to use the red meeple that comes with the base game. Again, the minis come with the extra features and stuff like that, but they're pretty cool. I'm going to roll a d6. Let's figure out what our setup card's going to be. I rolled a 1. Bam, we have Swamp Thing. And we're going to put the final girl. So I'm going to use her mini. She's going to go in the center here. The killer's going to be in the Holy Groves. And then we have 1 victim here, 1 victim here, 2 victims here, 2 victims in Lost and Found. Sorry about that. 1 here, 1 here, and 2 here. So 10 victims to start. Getting Adelaide to her superpower is going to be super important. Remember, as we... Oh, I think there's actually supposed to be 2 more. So there's going to be 12 on the board. The 1 here, 1 here. So getting again as we save victims, we'll get certain benefits. Two victims will be able to allow us to reduce the horror. Two will give us +2 time. One will allow us to move a space, and then on the back, once we get to our heightened power, we get to choose one as an immediate effect. We can decrease the type of wrath to one of either the killer wrath or the divine wrath. We get to recover all our health, or we get to take up 6 cost worth of action cards. Could be super cool. For each additional victim saved at that point, we get to reduce 1 horror. It is super, 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 super important in this scenario to save 5 victims right away, have this thing flipped over, and it will prevent Inkanyamba from getting up to his highest level, which is really, 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 really not good. So there's a lot of reallys, and probably I could have added a couple of more. We're gonna randomly choose Inkanyamba's dark power. I rolled a 3. So this will be the dark power in play. Again, we'll reveal that once the bloodlust gets up 3 levels, and then we're gonna roll a die for his finale effect. That will go up here. Again, that gets revealed when we are out of horror cards. Speaking of terror cards. Speaking of the terror deck, we have this. There are 24 cards in here. 16 come from Inkanyamba, 8 come from the location. We're going to shuffle them up, and then we're going to take 10 off the top. This will be our terror deck for the game. This terror deck is going to be very swingy from what I've experienced with this scenario. Let's talk about the Killer Wrath. So in Kenyamba, he has his base action. If the Killer Wrath is a 1 or a 2, it increases by 1, and then it will target either the final girl or a victim, and it will kill them. Now, that does not move as part of its killer action, but then we have this Killer Wrath effect. So Killer Wrath goes from 1 to 10. We put it on the 2 to start, and what that means is Killer Wrath is ever triggered, we have to increase Killer Wrath by 2. Now, once it's at 4, if Killer Wrath's ever triggered, we have to increase the horror, then we have to target the final girl or a victim, and we have to move toward them. And then obviously these get worse and worse and worse. If it was at 10 and Killer Wrath is triggered, well, the killer heals 2, he increases the horror level by 1, he targets a final girl or a victim, whichever is closer, or it will prioritize victims over the final girl if they are tied, and then it's going to move, and then it's going to attack twice. Again, move value and attack value are determined by this board over here. So pretty nasty. If we get up to the bloodlust up to there, it's just going to make us cycle through the terror deck very fast. It's not a great situation. Again, I don't see a world in which you could come close to winning this scenario if you do not keep the bloodlust down around in somewhere between here and here. So it has to, as long as they're only doing 2 damage at a time, I think you actually have a legitimate chance against Inkanyamba, but that is easier said than done for sure. So shuffling up these tarot cards, I'm going to take 10 off the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This will go here. That means there should be 14 here. Cool, so this will come out. And finally, we're going to look at our events. There are 10 events that come with the Sacred Groves. There are 10 events that come with every one of these of the feature films. We're going to roll a die, and this will be our starting event. Bam, I rolled a 3. So the starting event that's in play, Unholy Bloodshed. It says, I guess these gods don't take kindly to tourists bleeding all over their sacred sites. Anytime at least one victim is killed at a sacred site, unleash the divine wrath. So let's talk about that. Divine wrath is nasty. It likes to take away all your time. Just suck it up and make you discard cards, which is essentially the same thing, considering most of the time you are spending, well, not, again, other than the 0 time cards, you are often spending time to get cards. It goes Divine Wrath works like Killer Wrath. It will go up and down. When Divine Wrath is triggered, it is triggered based on a yellow lightning bolt versus a red lightning bolt. At level 1, it makes you lose 1 time and then increase Divine Wrath by 1. At level 2, it makes you lose 2 time. At level 3, it just increases the horror. At level 4, it makes us discard 1 random action card. At level 5, it increases the horror twice, etc., etc., etc. I am playing on extreme horror mode, and the fact that both of these things like to increase the horror is going to make getting up to 3 dice in any way that's sustained very hard. So we are going to try to get that up into that area. Hold on one sec. All right, so yeah, we are going to try to get up into this area, which is the only area that we will roll 3 dice for our horror checks. Um, one of the weird things about the layout of the original mat, I don't know if it's the same. I mean, it's clever on one level. It's a little like unfortunate on another. Is that so? If you're this is the normal horror track, they've just kind of superimposed the extreme horror mode on the outside. So wherever the killer is, we're going to pay attention to the color where the meeple representing the horror level is. We're going to have to pay attention to the color on the outer ring, right? So even if we're here, we're still only rolling 2 dice. Once we get here, then we can roll 3 dice. But again, getting from 4, Inkanyamba already starts at a 4 too, which is pretty gross. I'm surprised he doesn't start like a 3. Seems like a more reasonable level for him, considering how often he raises horror. But what do I know? So we are going to have to work hard to get it into this area, and at least keep it out of the red. Because if it's in the red, we're only rolling 1 die, and that would be super hard. So we are going to start with 6 cards in our hand. These are our level 0 cards. I will have nothing in the backpack for a minute. I'll probably just actually keep these in my hand. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of space kind of lay these things out. So again, we are going to start the first round with the player phase. Oh, also note that this is a special token that gets placed with Inkanyamba. Um, well, it gets placed on the killer. It's from the Sacred Groves that as the Bloodlust goes up, if it corresponds with the line here, it will trigger it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times add the Bloodlust will trigger certain effects with the Divine Wrath track. All right, I am going to go in the... one of the things I really liked about the original boards too, that I wish they put on these playmats here, and I have that over here. They actually had the phases like on the board, and I wish they kind of put that on the map. But I guess with neoprene, I know it's like hard to be super small print, but it was just always a nice like player reference like built into your onto your board. That here it's like I'm just using the back of the rule book, but because I want to make sure I'm using the right terminology as we go. So we're in the planning phase. Nope, we're in the action phase. So I'm going to play action cards in my hand, and I'm going to make horror rules to try to do certain things. Uh, these guys are pretty low hanging fruit to get them into an exit. Dudes in sacred shrines aren't great. We have one dude in the sacred site there. We have another dude in the sacred site there. We have another dude, 2 that are adjacent to that. I'm going to stand the killer up. Should work for the camera. All right, cool. But I do want to start addressing this horror level, if nothing else. So I'm going to play focus. I roll 2 dice because we're in the white section on the extreme horror track. And I rolled, oh, that's a really good start. So I get 2 time, and we reduce the horror level by 1. Can't complain about that. I think I'm going to walk. Do I try to... I could try to get this horror level all the way, which would be pretty sick. But let me see how a walk would go. If I can roll 2 stars again, that'd be really nice. Bam, just 1 star, but I will take it. So I'm going to lose 1 time, and I'm going to move 1 location. Remember, victims will follow you, but only 2 at a time will follow you. So I'm going to play walk again. So rolling pretty well so far. Let's see if we can keep that up. Hey, another star. That's excellent. So 1 time, I could discard 2 to get another star. I don't need 2 stars. 1 star is good enough. So I'm going to spend 1 time because I got the 1 star success, and I'm going to move 1. They're at an exit. They're going to go away. They're both going to reduce the horror. 1 and 2, and that gets down to a 1. I think I'm going to chill. I kind of want to have extra cards in my hand. I have 5 time to spend. We'll be able to deal with the rest of that next turn. I want to get some sprints and again try to maybe save some of these guys. I could go here and try to maybe search in the grove tenders, the groundskeeper's shed. Yeah, I gotta figure out who else I'm trying to save. But I mean, I could try to save these 2 and bring them back to there. So I'll have some options. But I think that's good for now. So I have 5 time worth to spend. I'm going to spend 2 time on a sprint. We're now in the planning phase, just to be clear about that. I'm going to spend 3 time on a distraction. And I would have discarded a weak attack to get another time. I should have done that in the action phase. Again, I don't think it matters all that much. And I'm going to grab myself a close call. I do like having one close call on me, but I have a focus, I have a distraction. I should be able to get that down to 0, and maybe we can start sprinting around. Maybe I pick up a search, try to get that iron war club, or get that war club, because I think it could be really helpful later as just one way to really control the wrath. Right, it's like super thematic in a way that I really like. So that is the end of the action phase and the planning phase. At the end of the planning phase, this is going to go up, and then everything that's here will get redistributed to the card selection space. And now we're going to go to the killer phase. First, we're going to do the killer action. The killer wrath is at a 1 or a 2, so this increases by 1. The killer is going to kill someone in space. There is no one in the killer space. So now we go right to the first tarot card, and it says the Wrath of Death. So Wrath of Death, we're going to unleash. So what is the unleash for killer wrath? Again, it's a red unleash, not a yellow unleash. So it's going to raise the horror by 1, and then increase. uh, One of the things that cracks me up about this scenario that I don't know, it's just silly to me. Like, these tracks, it's almost like they don't incrementally raise. They're just like they will very often just absolutely jump to the very top of the tracks in a way that I just find kind of silly. But again, that's just me. So it's increasing this equal to my current health. My current health is 6, so it goes from a 3 to a 9. That seems like a reasonable thing for it to do. That's awesome. And then it's going to focus on a victim. It's going to move, and it is going to kill it. So where is it going to move? Well, it could go here or here. I will randomly figure out which way it's going to move. A 4 will go that way. A 5 will go that way. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 1, 2, 3 is top. I rolled a 2, and it's going to go up to this dude, and it's going to kill him. There are different ways you could distribute when there's a tiebreaker like that. There's like the rules in the back of the book, which are interesting. I kind of just go full random when I can. So that's going to increase the bloodlust by 1, because every time a victim dies, you increase the bloodlust. And now we have increased the divine wrath by the number of victims at sacred spaces. There are 2, so 1 and 2. Now this goes up to a 4, and that's a pretty gross effect there. So I need to be careful about that. It just makes me discard a random action card, and I might indeed have some nice ones that I will not want to discard. So we are going to go to the panic phase. No one's going to panic because somebody did die this turn, but there are no victims in the space as in Kanyamba. And now we go to the action phase. In the action phase, I still want to get this down to a 2 if I can. So I am going to play Distraction. Let's see if I can't smash 2 stars right off the bat. Oh, that's an interesting thing. I can discard. I don't know if I'm going to do much here. I can discard the focus and the short rest. I get another focus back. Let's see if I roll a star there, but I'm only 1/3 of the time going to do that. Yeah, so not the greatest of rolls, but I'm just going to discard the focus and the short rest, get the 1 star. That's going to increase my time by 1, lower this by 1, and then I'm not going to do anything else. I want to buy a bunch of cards. I'm going to get a bunch of level 0 cards back, and I think it just puts me in a better place to kind of chill a little bit and have a better turn next turn. This is the closest victim, so this victim's kind of dead. I think I'm giving myself better options by doing things this way. So I have 6 time to spend in the planning phase. I'm going to spend 2 for another sprint. I'm going to spend 2 for an atonement. And I will spend 2 for a search. I think that will work. I pick up these level 0 cards, make sure I don't have 10 cards in my hand. So in my hand, I have a weak attack, 2 walks, a focus, a search, a close call, 2 sprints, and an atonement. The distraction will go back. These come back to the level 0 cost cards. And now we go to the killer phase, but this does set up reset to the 5. You notice that this is blue. That's for the regular mode. Extreme horror mode, it only resets to a 5 and not a 6. We're going to Inkanyamba's turn. Inkanyamba is going to do its killer action. It's not at 1 or a 2, so that doesn't increase. It's not in this place with either the final girl or a victim, so it's not going to do that attack. We drop our second terror card. Bam. If there are, he's coming and there's nothing we can do about it. If there are victims on the board, discard. Sorry, if there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next terror card. Otherwise, increase the horror. So this goes up to a 2 again, and it's going to focus on the closest victim, which is here, and it's going to murder it. Bloodlust goes up one more time. So now it's still only attacking 1 minute attacks, but it is moving 3 instead of 2. My turn. I'm going to sprint. If I can move, if I can get there, get that item, I think that'll be good, and then get back, and then maybe do the atonement. I still have a close call. I have a bunch of things that I can do here that I like. I probably don't want to do the atonement roll just yet, and there's a reason for that. But so atonement's a special action, so I should probably talk about what this does. If you try the atonement and you don't roll any stars, you increase the horror and you lose 2 time. If you roll 1 star, you decrease either the killer wrath or the divine wrath by 1. If you roll 2 stars, you decrease the killer wrath or the divine wrath by half, rounded up. This is why if you're only playing with Inkanyamba, you're only worried about the killer wrath. If you're only playing at the Sacred Groves, you're worried at the divine. The fact that this card, you don't have enough of these cards. You won't have enough actions to do this action enough. And I think that's why it's almost better to divorce Sacred Groves and Inkanyamba if you're really trying to get the most out of what this feature film adds to the game. If you roll 3 stars, you get to decrease either, again, the Killer Wrath or the Divine Wrath to 1, which could be super, super strong. But obviously to do that, you're going to want to probably take a planning, and you're going to want to, you're going to need to have 3 dice. So it's going to be a little bit before we can really think about that. So I'm going to hold on to this for a moment. But I'm going to do the sprint action. I would like at least 1 star. Oh, 2 stars will do. Maybe I don't do the search right now. I would like that weapon, though. No! Yeah, it's a waste of 2 stars, kids. It's a waste of 2 stars. But we're going to just use the 2 movement. I lose 1 time, so we're down to 4. And I'm doing that because I do want to search while I'm here. I think it's just going to be the most efficient way for me to go. So we're doing a search action. I'm rolling 2 dice. Ooh, that's really bad. So I'm going to play close call. I spend 2 time. I get to reroll all of my dice. That's really bad. Woof. So I have 2 options here. I could raise the horror level by 1 and lose 2 time, or I can raise the horror level by 2 and lose 2 time, but also take the top item card. I'm going to do that. So we're raising the horror level by 2. I do want this item. It takes up both of my hands. I can immediately put this in play, but I think that will be helpful. I'm going to want an item weapon sooner rather than later. And I lose 2 time, so we're down at 0. Yikes. I'm going to play a focus. Can I please roll better? Yes. Great. I'm going to discard this one of the walks and a weak attack. This gets reduced and I gain 2 time. Again, I had 0 time, but as long as I wasn't at the X, means I still could go ahead and take actions. If it had the X, I would have had to immediately end the action phase, and that would have been all she wrote. But I have the item. Horror level's at 3, which isn't great. I'm going to get another focus back. I have a sprint card in my hand. So what I'm going to do is discard this walk, get that up to... this is really bad. I don't have a close call. Woof. I have a walk in my hand. I have a sprint in my hand already. All right, I'm going to discard that. That goes up there. And I'm going to... I will take an atone. Nah. No, I won't discard that. I have 2 time left. I'm just going to spend the 1 to get a close call. I'm going to put the short rest and the focus back in my hand, and then all these things come back. So it was a pretty big whiff on the search, which obviously puts me in a much, like, being here would be a lot better. But just, I don't, it made more sense just to get that done this turn than make that be a completely wasted move. And I was still increasing the horror by 1 instead of 2. So I rolled 4 dice and just ended up whiffing on each one of them, right? So that is the end of the planning phase. That's the end of the action phase prior to that. And now we get to the killer phase. The killer phase, nothing's happening there. We're going to draw a tarot card. It's the 3rd tarot card. And they disrespected him, and now he wants their blood. If there are no victims on the board, discard and draw the next tarot card. Otherwise, it goes for the victim. These 2 victims are closer than those 2 victims. It goes here. It's going to kill twice. And then we increase that based on the number of victims killed this turn. It's maxed out at 10. It cannot go higher. There is no impact that I could see from there. This goes up twice because 2 victims were killed, so 1 and 2. It reveals the dark power. It is Feast of Anger. Whenever Killer Wrath increases, Inkanyamba recovers health. And then that also triggers 2 things over here. So unleash this. I have to discard 1 random action card. I have 6 cards in my hand. I'm going to go 1 through 6. I rolled a 1. We lose the Atonement card, so that's super awesome. And then it says increase Divine Wrath by the number of victims in those spaces, so this increases now up to 6. So losing the Atonement card wasn't great. Again, there are a lot of things that could really start to snowball on you in this scenario that isn't the most fun at times. But alas, this too shall pass. So I need to save 2 more victims. I definitely want to do that. Or 3 more victims. And I definitely want to do that. So I'm going to spend this sprint action. I'm going to roll 2 dice. I would like to roll 1 star, please. I rolled that. Woof. All right, I'm going to discard a short rest and a walk to get 1 star. 1 time goes down, and I move 2 spaces. 1, 2. Those both are safe now. I'm going to get 2 time. I'm going to put this one here, and then I'm going to move 1 space. And I have 6 time. I'm going to get a focus back there. I'm going to get a walk there. I'm going to grab a distraction, a close call, and a sprint. That is 6 time. This goes down to 0. These get reset over here. Reset that to 5. Wait, whoa. I messed that up. I should have had these 3 cards. I should have. They were available. These 2 weren't. Remember, I played the sprint. I bought another sprint. I have both close calls in my hand, which is super nice. And the Atonement was discarded when the Divine Wrath triggered. So that is fine. All right, we're going to go to the killer phase. Killer is not doing anything. That's, again, all the way up at a 10, which is bananas. I just need to save 1 more victim, and that will really, really, really help. So if I can save 2 more, it will help even more. So 2 is better than 1. Let me just carve my initials right here. Increase the Divine Wrath by the number of victims, and these guys just haven't moved, so this now goes up to 2. Unleash, I have to discard 2 random action cards. And again, I don't love this mechanic. I think it's a little broken for what it is, especially when you're trying to satisfy both wraths, but here we are. So I'm losing 2 cards, 1 through 8. I'm rolling this die twice. I lose 5, so I lose a walk card. Not that bad. I roll this again, and I roll the 7. I lose 1 of my close calls, so that could have been a lot worse. Oh, great. And now this goes down by 5, so that goes to 0. Place 2 new victims at the sacred shrine. That's not great. So we have 2 new victims that show up, which is going to make them do this, do a lot more panicking, most likely. And then all victims adjacent to the sacred shrine move there. They are lured in by the evilness. And now we have 4 victims at the sacred shrine. 4, yeah, I need to save some of them. Now, once one of them is killed, chances are the others will survive and they will do a panic, and we will still have a way to make some of that work. Alrighty then, so I have my war club. I dig that. Can I save some of these peeps is the real question. That pepper spray is looking mighty fine. That pepper spray is looking real good. Pepper spray does take up a hand, though, so forget that, because this takes up 2 hands. So I have no hands. I have no hands for your silly pepper spray. Think I try to get this horror down while I'm here, so I'm going to play Distraction first and foremost. Oh, man, if that goes to a 0, I'm in serious trouble. So again, if it goes one more down, it's X, done. So I'm playing Distraction first. At least 1 star, it would still go back up. I'm only rolling 2 dice. That's a garbage roll, and I'm gonna play Close Call. I get to re-roll 1 die, and I can discard 2 to make that work. I will. I get 1 star. So this goes up 1. This horror goes down 1. I mean, the Divine Wrath, the way it makes you discard cards and eat your time away is just so freaking broken, dude. Yeah, like I'm just kind of screwed right now. If I felt confident about getting 2 stars, I could do this sprint, but obviously I do not. I'm going to discard the... Oh, this is not going well. This is going... Excuse me. Sorry about that. This is going very poorly. I need to save 2 more, or 1 more. I don't want to use these sprints. I'm just going to waste this last time. I'll have a focus. I'll pick up a short rest and a walk. Woof. Lots of woofs, kids. Yikes. Yeah, both wraths are just in awful, awful shape. So I'm going to grab these 2 cards. This focus card comes back. Close Call comes here. Close Call comes here. Distraction and walk. Killer phase. It's not doing anything with that killer action. We draw our next terror card. Fickleness of the Gods. Place this card next to the Divine Wrath. At the end of the upkeep phase, make a horror roll. I can spend 3 times during the action phase to discard this card. This is not that bad, but it is one more thing I need to remember to do during upkeep. So we go to upkeep now. This should have reset to 5 in the planning phase. So in upkeep, I'm doing a roll. I need at least 1 star or I'm in trouble. Ugh. I do not want to unleash, so I'm going to discard 2 cards to get 1 star, so no effect. Great, I have 5 time. I could mess with that again, but I could spend the 3 to get rid of this, which is not the craziest idea, but I really, really, really need to get some other things done. So I'm going to get, a walk, a weak attack, and a focus back. I'm going to grab a distraction, 2 close calls. That's my 5 times spent there. That resets to 5, and then I pick up these cards. Remember, your hand limit is 10. This is fine. These will come back here. We now go to the killer. So this, I basically spent all 5 of my time for planning. This goes back because I only had 2 cards in my hand, and I didn't feel very good about that. So we're going, because again, I lost 2 cards because of Fickleness of the Gods. Fickleness of the Gods. So now we go to our next tarot card. So we are, we're halfway through because it's the 5th tarot card. So this is the 6th tarot card of the game. Let's see what happens. He's coming, and there's nothing we can do. There are victims on the board, so this raises to 3. He's going to move. He's going to kill somebody in there. Bloodlust increases. So now he's moving 3, but still only attacking 2 a turn, or for 2 damage a turn. And now we go to the panic phase. All 3 of these guys are going to panic because they are in a space with a killer, and somebody did die this round. So a 1, a 1, and a 4. The ones stay, which is really special. The 4 is going to move here, and oh boy, do I not like that. So while they're there, they're just going to be killed. Now, remember, victims will never follow you into a space with the killer, but they will leave with you if you go through the space with the killer. I do have a couple of sprints. I might be able to swoop down there and save those guys. Nope, I have 1 sprint and 1 walk. So I would need to get perfect. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I would need to get perfect. So the only way that's happening. Oh, so now we go to the upkeep phase. I have to make this fickleness of the gods roll. I got 1 star, no effect. Happy about that. Let's see if I can't get this up to 3 dice, and then I could do a sprint and a walk and try to get those 2 saved, right? So I'm going to play this distraction. I'm rolling 2 dice. 2 stars would be amazing. 1 star will have to do. Yeah, 1 star will have to do. So this goes up. This goes down. I have 2 focuses. 2 close calls. I'm tempted to use a close call to try to roll that to be better, but I think odds are this is a better way to proceed. So I'm going to play this focus. I could discard 2 for a success. Great, I'm going to discard this weak attack and a close call to get 1 success. This goes down, this goes down. I'm going to play this focus. Star, baby! There we go. This goes down. Now I get 3 dice. All right, I have a sprint, a walk, and a close call. So I'm going to play this sprint. I'm rolling 3 dice. 2 stars would be amazing. Yikes. I could save that dude. I think you're a lost cause, dude. I think you are a lost cause. All right, so I got move 3 spaces. Or move 2 spaces. I could discard these 2 and move 3, or I could just lose 1 time and move 2. I think that's going to make the most sense. Yeah, I'm just going to go 1, 2, and get them out of the burial ground. And then if I save both of them, that will really help with next turn. And then I could start focusing on the rest of what I need to do here. All right. So we have 3 dice, which is great. It will make the fickleness of the gods roll less scary. Of course, there's a lot of things that are going to happen to make the horror level go up. And that's about to unleash again, which is just really gross. And I did not have an atonement card. Yeah, I'm going to lose 5 time again. Discard 2 random cards in my hand. Yeah. Yeah, it's not great. All right. Well, what do I have? I have 0 time. Oh, I had more time. I should have. What did I do? What have I done? Distraction. I was at 5. It went up to 6. Focus went down to 5. Focus went down to 4. Move 2 spaces went down to 3. So I'm going to spend this 3 time to get myself a this. Um, tempted to get the distraction. I'll get the sprint. Discard the walk. And get the atonement. No, there's no point to that because I'm about to lose 2 cards. So I just got the sprint. This goes up, I grab this. And now the sprint comes here, focus, weak attack, this, and distraction. Alright, killer is going to kill someone in their space. This guy is dead. This goes up. That makes this unleashed. I have to discard 2 random cards in my hand. Again, remember I had an atonement in my hand early, and then that went to crap. So I have 4 cards left. I rolled a 3, so I lost a short rest and a walk, so that could have been a lot worse. We're going to grab the next terror card. It is the Minor Dark Power. Every time Killer Wrath is increased, increase it by an additional 1, and that's going to basically give Nkanyamba 3 additional health, which isn't that bad. We go to the upkeep phase. This guy is going to he's terrified, so he's going to panic. I rolled a 1, so he's just going to stay right there because why would he move? Woo! Hold on one sec. Someone needs to teach that dude how to panic. My victims are not very good at panicking. So, fickleness of the gods, I have to make this roll over here. There we go. I got a star, no effect. Now, if I get 2 stars, I get to decrease things by 1, which would be amazing. All right. Well, shoot. I'm going to play this sprint and hope I get at least 1 star with 3 dice. Again, because this is nice and low. Horror being down there is really nice. So 1 star, please. 2 stars is even better. So I'm going to go 1. Ooh, can I save you? No, you're a lost cause. So I'm going to go 1, 2. Drop him off. I got 2 stars, so I lose 1 time. I'm going to get 2 time back. This flips. And then these are all my saved meeples down here. I'm going to just put a little lineup to remember how cool we are. I would have been able to reduce a horror by 1, but horror is already at the lowest it can go. So at this point, I could take 6 cards worth of things, or I could decrease 1 type of wrath to 1. I will absolutely do this. Wait. This time should be at 0. This time should be at 0. Oh, that's interesting. I forgot to do that for sure. This goes down to 1. That goes down to there. But then I gain 2 time. I don't know how that works. I think I'm still screwed. Because again, it went down to, it was at 0 because of Divine Wrath. If it goes down to that because of the sprint action, so I move 3 spaces, but then I got a dude back, does it come off? You continue playing cards until either time markers below 0. I think I'm forced to stop. I mean, I don't know if it can bounce back to 1. I think I'm just forced to stop here. But I still have 1 more movement because remember I did have a move 3 and I only moved 2. So at this point, there's not much use in trying to get distance between you and Kanyaba. He moves an insane amount. 4 movement is a lot for one of these killers. So I think I'm just screwed because again I lost 5 time because of Divine Wrath. That went down to 0, goes down to here. I don't get the 2 back even though I saved a victim. I have no way to get cards during planning, so I'll just pick up the focus, and weak attack that were in the level 0 cards. location, and I did at least reduce. Oh, I get to reduce one of the wraths by one. I will reduce. This is by far the most worrisome right now, and that's about the trigger again. So I'm going to reduce that down to one. I think that's just better. All right, because that is just, again, it's really making me lose entire turns in a way that's not great. So we're going to do the killer action. This guy's like, hey, if you don't want to panic away, I'm just going to kill you again. Increase that by the number of victims in sacred places. There are none, and then it unleashes. So again, this would have gone back to 5 at the end of the planning phase. Unleash says this goes down by 1 time, and then this increases by 1. But at least the divine wrath is much less of a concern. But I have 4 time now going into the next action phase. We're going to draw a horror card. It is a fickle temper. Make a horror roll. Again, I'm still rolling 3. Nothing has increased horror in quite a while. Killer Wrath has not unleashed in a while, which has been very, very good. So I got 1 star. Choose. I could discard 2 to. I could discard 2 cards to make that 2 stars. And that would decrease this by half. Or I could just leave it at 1 star and just let it decrease by 1. Yeesh. That victim is not going to survive either way. The but I think that's a pretty strong. I mean, it prevents me from needing an atonement for a while. So I'll discard a weak attack and a focus to get a 2nd star out of that roll, and that allows me to decrease this by half, so it goes from 10 to 5. The killer's going to target a victim. It's going to go there and kill this dude. Bloodlust is near the top. So fortunately, there are no more victims on the board, so Bloodlust should stay there, but unfortunately, now the killer is doing 3 damage every time it attacks the final girl, and make no mistake, it's got movement 5. There is no place for me to hide on this board, right? So I am just kind of at the mercy of good rolls with guard cards, etc., etc., etc. The fickleness of the gods, I'm making this horror roll. I could discard 2 cards to get no effect. I will do that. So that might be worth trying to get rid of, but probably not. And now we're going to go to the action phase. I have only 4 time left because remember the Divine Wrath reduced it from a 5 to a 4. I'm going to take. I have no cards really to throw out. I have this close call in my hand. Did I have a bunch of level 0 cards? Woof. Yeah, I had a lot of level 0 cards in my hand. Short rest walk. Oh, did I forget? I think after I forgot to in the planning phase. I forgot to put these back. That makes more sense. So those are now available for me this turn. So last turn again, because 2 of these were from the fickle temper roll, 2 of these were from the fickleness of the gods roll. I just forgot to put them back at the end of the last planning phase. Remember, I didn't have any time to spend in planning, so I just kind of got my own tempo thrown off a little bit. I think I grab the retaliate, and let's see if we can't start smashing this dude a little bit. And then I'll have this walk and this short rest. So that was my planning phase. This goes back to 5. These level 0 cards come back here. We go to the killer phase. Again, killer isn't doing anything with his killer action. That's this whole game is null and void because I forgot this event. Woof. Is there a better event? Yeah, I mean, there's no way to redo it. 3 times there were 3 times a guy was killed there. I just forgot. I just forgot to do it. Woof. Yeah, some of these are really bad. Yeah, there's no real good way to play this back. So I don't know. Hmm. If I didn't feel sick, I would just start over. I'm gonna start over anyway. It is a problem with some of the events that I just find they just add these like rules that you're not used to looking for them, and it's like events that have continual effects. I almost prefer events that are just like one time things because then you could just like, all right, cool, I can deal with that, and then I can just get it out of the mental overhead. Like there are just games that have a lot of mental overhead that you're used to looking for things like that, and then there are games that don't. That all of a sudden, yeah. Whenever at least one victim in your space panics, discard one random card. Yeah, we'll pretend this was our thing. That would never have happened. Flash photography. Point that camera somewhere else, you paparazzi wannabe. Yeah, I don't think I can run this back today. Unfortunately, my head is not going to allow that to be a thing. So, a victim never panicked in my space, so I'm not gonna have to worry about that. I would have absolutely got smushed with this. When our victim is killed at a sacred place, we have to unleash. That happened at least 3 times, and at least one of the times would have been discard 2 random cards and lose 5. The last 2 times would not have been as bad, I don't think, but yeah. I mean, the fact that my panic rolls were so garbage, it would have been at least 3 times. It would have been an absolute smushing. So we're revisiting this history. I'm gonna pick the one card that wouldn't have affected gameplay, because that's what I can do. We are now going to go to the horror. The He's not doing anything. We're going to take our terror card because we haven't done that yet. Correct. Taurus trap. All victims adjacent to a sacred space move there. Increase. So there are none left. Increase the divine wrath by the number of victims at sacred places. There are none. And now it's going to focus on the final girl. He goes there and he is attacking. He's trying to do 3 damage. I'm interrupting his attack to play retaliate. I got 1 star. I can discard 2 more to have 2 more to have a second star. I ignore all damage from his attack, and I do 1, 2, 3 damage. The war club augments my attack by doing 1 extra damage. That's going to be enough to kill to defeat this minor dark power. So that's out. And whenever I inflict damage with the war club, I can choose either one. I can diffuse Killer Wrath or Divine Wrath and decrease it by that damage inflicted. I inflicted 3 damage. I will decrease the Killer Wrath down to a 2. I'm going to put these here, and that was the end of the killer phase. In the upkeep phase, I need to roll for fickleness of the gods. I got 2 stars. I get to decrease one of these by 2. I will decrease or decrease one of these by 1. It's like 2, it's just different. I'll decrease this by 1. So look at those wrath tracks being absolutely a non-issue. It's easy game when you're accidentally cheating. All right, I have 5 left. A 5 time, and I have 1 card in my hand, and it's a close call. So I'm not doing anything. I'm skipping the action phase. I'm going to go right to the planning phase. I'm going to spend 2 of that 5 to get a guard. Hold on one sec. Sorry about that. And I'm going to spend another 3. Oh, man. I'm going to get another 3 to get. There's a bunch of focuses in here. Like, I can't really do much. I'm not long resting. I'll get another. I'll spend 3 to get an improvise. That goes out to 0. This goes back to 5 at the end of this. The retaliate will come back here. Walk and short rest go there. I'm very sloppy today, guys. Sorry about that. I'm going to pick up these 4 cards. They're now in my hand. And walk and short rest go there. So I have 2 focuses, a walk, a weak attack, an improvise, and a guard. We go to the killer phase. The killer tries to attack me. I'm going to play the guard. He's probably going to attack me twice, isn't he? Yeah, I mean, it's not like I could do much about it. Was there a close call there? I think there was a close call. Or did I? What the heck? I display retaliate. I had. I got picked up an improvise and a guard. I had 5. I could take 1 attack, right? Especially if this guard goes well. That's fine. All right, so he's attacking me. I'm rolling 3 dice. 2 stars. I ignore all damage, so that was helpful. Again, that was from his killer action. Oh, also, Killer Wrath was at a 1 or 2, so it goes to a 2 now. And now we grab the final terror card, Unleash. This unleashes, it goes up 2. And now increase that by the number of victims that you have saved. I've saved 6, so this goes up to 10 because that seems reasonable. And now it's going to focus on a victim. It's going to move and attack. If there are no victims, it targets the final girl instead. So it is targeting me. I don't have a guard. It's going to do 3 damage to me. So I lose 3 of my little red hearts. That is fine. Fickleness of the Gods. I probably should have picked up an Atonement because that thing is gross. Fickleness of the Gods. I rolled 1 star. I can discard 2 to get a second. Don't mind if I do. I can decrease 1 wrath by 1. I will decrease this by 1. And we are out of terror cards, so in the upkeep phase, this flips over for the finale. So it is the ultimate finale, or the extreme horror finale. I forget what they call it, but it's a really bad card. It's got a red back. When this is revealed, remove all Atonement cards from the game. So much for Atonement. So glad I did not spend 2 on that because I wouldn't have had it. And increase. So the new killer action is we increase the killer wrath by 2, and then we unleash it, and then it's going to try to kill me. So basically, it's attacking me 3 times around. So I'm gonna want a lot of guards and retaliates. And honestly, this I can decrease it with the war club, so that will be super helpful. So I have a weak attack, which isn't much, but I think it will make some sense. Increase by 2, unleash. Whenever that increases, oh man, that's a bad combo. And whenever that increases, he recovers health. That's not well defined. I'm assuming he recovers health. He, it doesn't say he recovers health. I don't know if he recovers as much health as the Killer Wrath, or does he recover 1 health every time it increases? So you only get 1 health back around, but that's a rough. That's a rough combo, because this is guaranteed increasing that with the unleashing. And the Feast of Anger is just... Oh, man. Weak attack would be... Until its action phase ends, 3s and 4s are successes. That would only do 2 damage. He's going to keep recovering health. Like, I don't know how I do enough damage to him to make this happen. This seems impossible. Like, very much impossible. Alright, well... I'm going to discard the weak attack. Oh, man, but then I have no... He's going to attack me twice. I have to get him to attack me once. Alright, I'm going to play weak attack. One star. Fine. 1 star, 1 damage becomes 2 damage because of the War Club. So 1 damage to me because it was a weak attack, so it took a lot out of me. So 2 damage to him, and that means I can lower this by 2. But he's absolutely going to heal that right back. Again, I don't think this is possible. I'm going to discard the focus to get up to 6, and then with that 6, I'm going to get a retaliate and a guard. Sergeant, well, would you look at that? No Sergeant, no party, but I'm happy to hear you are informed today. Yeah, I mean, the game does involve a lot of dice rolling with stupid odds and limited mitigation. Bound to happen. Hi, Greg. I'm late to the party. What's up, Jean-Pierre? How are you, sir? I will spare you my bad French accent today. It sounds super nasally today, even, you know. Probably even super special. All right, that's that. This goes up to 5. We go to Incanyamba. Incanyamba is going to increase this by 2. I don't know if that gives him 1 health or 2. It doesn't matter either way because he's getting 2 health there. So he's maxed out back to 9 health. He increases this, and he just attacks me once. Yeah, I didn't even get a focus card. I'm going to play Retaliate. I'm rolling 3 dice. And now this is his attack for the unleashing. So I'm rolling 3 dice. I need to mitigate all this. So I'm going to play short rest and... Woof. I'm going to discard short rest and... walk. Yeah, I'm going to discard short rest and walk. I'm going to ignore all damage from the attack, do 3 damage to it. When I do 3 damage to it, I reduce this down to 6. So that will help, and then it attacks me again with this attack here. So it unleashed, and then it's going to target me and attack. Again, it moves 5. There was no point in me trying to hide here. I don't know if I did a Fickleness of the God roll last turn. I want to say I didn't. Was that... Man, I don't know. There's a lot of weird overhead things going on right now, so sorry. Now, I think I must have, because that just got revealed. Yeah, I think I did. All right. And now it's attacking me again because the... Oh, shoot. This gets added when that comes out, so there's actually more happening, which is annoying. It's attacking me again. I'm going to play the guard card. I can ignore all damage, hopefully. I can ignore reduced by 2. I'm down to my final health. And then we're going to go to the upkeep phase where we have to do and then we have to finish this off. We unleash this, so I lose 2 time. And then we increase this by 1. And then the Fickleness of the Gods roll. And by the way, I've been rolling 3 dice instead of 2, so I'm totally cheating. because it increases the horror. Yeah, this is stacked in a way that's really bad. Well, I'm not gonna re-roll those. I'm just gonna roll 2 dice for Fickiness of the Gods. It just is what it is. Hey, I rolled a star. No effect. All right. Awesome. So yeah, because that's gonna keep triggering that. This gets added there. Yeah, I really don't like Inkanyamba and the Sacred Groves. I think one or the other is super awesome and thematic. I think when you add both of them, you're just on for a lesson in futility. And um, I just don't. I mean, I've beaten it, but I got very lucky. And and really, you get into this thing where you're just trying to get this in a place where it's not awful. But having 3 time is pretty bad. That's a really bad finale card. That's a really bad finale card. The horror is very much going to start climbing. Yeah, I'm gonna not be able to survive this. He's gonna heal 2 or 1. I still don't know. Hold on 1 sec. I'm gonna get the guard. Oh yeah, I can't. I'm gonna be dead. I mean, I can't move. I can't get far enough away from him. He moves 5. It's like really silly. I'm gonna get the guard and the close call. Get this back to 5. Um, his turn. This increases by 2. I don't know how much health that gives him. Again, whenever that increases, he recovers health. It's really poorly written. That is one instance of it increasing. I'm giving him 1 health. It should say equal amount if that was the intention. It doesn't matter anyway, because now this is going to happen. He gets another health from that. Horror level goes up 1. Hit attacks me. I'm going to play guard. Rolling 2 dice. Doesn't matter. I mean, I can discard 2. I can just re-roll 1 with close call. That's a blank. I'll re-roll 1 with close call. Hey, a star. Great. I reduced the amount of damage by 2, but he's still attacking for 3. I have no health left. That would be the game. Yeah, that was a really fart. It's a really unfortunate way to end the that playthrough. Um, you get there are cycles. There are less bad finale cards. We Need a Miracle is actually really nice. The increase by 2 and Unleash is kind of gross because you can't ever get on top, especially when he's healing. I mean, this one is just Unleash, right? So if this is in a place where it's not that bad, where you're like, all right, he's just going to do the horror, or like if I started doing damage with the War Club, I could get on top of it. But the fact that he was going to continually increase and then Unleash, so he's just going to be multiple attacks every turn. This is only increasing by 1. That's not bad, but then there's a double attack there. And then your fact that you're adding that to it as well is like you're just you're getting double teamed by all this stuff. Dark Lightning, whenever Inkanyamba kills a victim, kill a second victim in the same or adjacent space. I'd actually rather that. That's supposed to be like the ultimate thing. That's just not nearly as bad. He killed them all anyway, dude. At the end of the upkeep, make a horrible no effect or unleash. And whenever Killer Wrath increases, increase the terror level. Yeah, I probably wouldn't play Inkanyamba at the Sacred Groves again. There's not enough benefit to doing the Atonement strategy. Like you just can't stay on top of it enough. Um, there's too many things that are just going to absolutely screw you, especially on Extreme Horror. Unless I guess you played regular horror, it'd be a little bit better, but like that's just not a winnable combination. I don't know how you'd make that work because every time it increases, he recovers health. It's going to increase every turn. you can see the big difference between like those extra two victims. If those extra two victims don't come out, remember this stays there. So the fact that these victims came out, that really triggered a lot of badness, and also one of the things that made this thing so bad. So if those extra victims don't come out, like he's only doing 2 damage a turn instead of 3. I can last a lot more attacks that way. And then the guards, all you need is 1 star. You can just ignore it, or even the retaliate. But the way the divine wrath keeps eating your time, like it's hard to get enough time to get a critical blow, to get a furious strike. I mean, I guess you could start doing like long rests just to get health back, but again, that's 5. Like you don't have the time, and you can't go anywhere. Like say I was here, Incan moves 4, so like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like you can't get away from him on this board. So I just feel like something is just like, this is the one, like if you love this theory, you love horror movies, like this is the one where you're just like, be prepared to die. Like there's no strategies that you can really use, like other than getting as many getting powered up as soon as possible, trying to get to the horror level where you are into like a manageable place, the wrath levels at a manageable place. And then if you hopefully you have enough time to be able to get guards, get retaliate, and whittle him down. But the fact that he just kept healing, like it just really prevented me from having any reasonable chance of doing this one. Saja says, "Wait, you have a bad French accent? Bring it on." Same thing except different. Tony Oates seems like this is the most overheady killer location combo in season 1. Yeah, there's a lot to it. I think Geppetto brings a lot of overhead too, just with the traps and remembering to move the puppets separate from Geppetto. So yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just the event deck. A lot of it's like you really have to like focus on, those sacred sites a little bit, and then there are things that just like change. Like every victim in the space counts as 2 when calculating increases, and yeah, it can definitely get to be a lot. Sad. When is your top solo list coming out? Kind of curious where this will end up this time around. Um, I was hoping to film that this week, and obviously being sick was not on the schedule. So I'm hopeful that I can film that this weekend. So it is supposed to be my April list. It might lead into like the first week of May, but it will definitely be out soon. I also would like to release it on the same day I hit 5,000 subs. So I am like 10 away. So I think that would be a nice thing to do. But we'll see. I mean, that's definitely not the primary motivator. I mean, I was going to try to film it this week, and I just being sick was not great. Sacred Groves. So I did mean to read some of the gruesome deaths, and I just absolutely forgot. Um, so you know, sorry about that. I really still haven't figured out how you're supposed to use these things super well. Hold on one sec. I really haven't figured out how to use these general deaths. I guess like what you just roll a die. Um, Jean Pierre, I was joking about your French accent. No, it's terrible, dude. it's like really bad. Brian Scott, like playing Ikenyan at a different location helps. You don't have to deal with the wrath and sacred cards. Yeah, like it feels like it's made to be separated. It feels like, because then you could like Atonement becomes a viable strategy because then you only have one wrath track you need to focus on. Like this is silly. Like this is just dumb. Where like wait, so both wrath tracks are increasing. Like I guess it's like more thematic. It is a finale, but it's not. There's so many unreasonable combos, and the divine wrath that I can almost deal with the killer rat track. The divine rat track, like making you just discard random cards, and the way it just absolutely. I mean, like you're taking away 4 of my time, dude, and that's only level 5. That's kind of gross. Like I don't know. It makes if I only have one rat track to focus on, like all right, well you best get your atonement cards out, right? That makes a little more sense to me. But when you have these rat tracks at the same time, like wolf, like come on, man. That's not. It's just not a reasonable situation, um, in my opinion. But I like Inkanyamba and I like the Sacred Groves. Like this isn't like a Geppetto. This isn't like a carnival thing where I just think the carnival location. Um, I just don't like it at all. Um, again, it's not like a poltergeist situation where I think the poltergeist is not a fun killer to me. It's like it's all about how lucky can you get with your shuffle because all you're doing is searching. You know, if you want to learn the search mechanic, that's a good way to do it. Um, I do think that was an unfortunate. That did again that one. If you can have like one roll that was really bad, like that one roll where I was pretty set up to get um, those items early, and I ended up having to increase the horror by 2. That really put me in a bad spot because if that roll had gone better, I would have been here a lot earlier, and I would have had a lot more. I would have been able to more quickly get where I needed to get to kind of do certain things. It's unfortunate. I totally forgot about the event. That obviously changed the playthrough to my advantage. Not that it mattered in the end, because again, this combo of cards is just brutal. I but I mean, they all increase it. Yikes, man. I mean, it's almost like you can't get to the finale. But I mean, I've beaten this on a finale before. Yeah, this one doesn't increase it. So if you have Feast of Anger and we need a miracle, then you're kind of in better shape. But everything else increases. Um, Nah, the less time you spend on this game, the more energy and voice you'll have left for something that is actually good. It's I like this game um in part, but I think what I like them I do like. For me, it's like if someone's going to buy this game, I've heard Series 2 is on average better, and I think that seems to be the general consensus. So I'm curious about it. But for me, Camp Happy Trails and Frightmare are like fun puzzles, and this the other three just kind of feel a little broken. Um, your dedication inspires us all. Have some Robitussin and a nap. Thanks, Alfred. I appreciate the super chat, man. I was only able to beat Imkanyapa at Camp Happy Trails. Yeah, I think he'd be fun. I mean, I could see Hans. I mean, Hans is kind of easy, right? I mean, he's the easiest of the killers. I could see throwing Hans in the Sacred Grove as being super fun and kind of a you know Jason goes to the African savannah, or I mean, I'm assuming. I mean, the Sacred Groves. I mean, it does. I'm assuming it's like based on like what you're on vacation somewhere in Africa and whatever is my guess. I didn't read the. I should have read. We missed story time with Greg, guys. What is going on? The Sacred Groves. Where there's so many books, bonus features, feature film rulebook series 1. Story time with Greg. What is the story here? And then I'll wrap this up and go get some Robitussin and a nap. Inkanyamba, whoever Inkanyamba used to be or where he came from, no longer matters. He has taken for himself the name of the legendary monster and has become a creature of pure wrath. His sole purpose is to exact vengeance to those around him, even if he long ago forgot the reasons for that vengeance. In order to overcome him, you will need to manage his ever-rising anger, represented by killer wrath. If it boils over, you will never survive the ensuing onslaught. Well, okay, I mean, if that's what you're trying to design, like, you've succeeded. Yay! All right, Sacred Groves. The gods are furious over the desecration of their sacred places by idiotic, obnoxious tourists. They forged an unholy pact with the killer, unleashing their wrath upon you and the oblivious victims in an attempt to cleanse the groves with blood and fire. As you fight to survive against the killer's onslaught, you'll need to simultaneously contend with the fury of the gods, represented by divine wrath. Yeah. The killer wrath thing almost makes more sense to me than the divine wrath. But again, the killer wrath is only in Kanyamba. Like the divine wrath is again, you're making me discard cards and taking away time and jacking up the horror level. Like that's a pretty vicious. And the fact that it has to be random, I think, is like kind of unnecessary. Um, I mean, level 8, like discard 2 random cards and lose 5 time. So now you've basically taken away my next turn, and all I have left is like I can't. I won't even have the time to replenish the cards you made me throw away. Like it's like so you've basically taken away 2 turns in a sense. I just find that kind of broken. And then you have discard all cards except Atonement and decrease. So yeah, if you get to level 10, discard all cards except for Atonement and decrease the Divine Wrath by the number of cards discarded. Honestly, that's a less punishing effect than 9, 8, 7, and 5. Like that's crazy. Yeah, dude. I don't know. There's something funky. I think I would still like to try this one with Hans and uh, Dr. Fright, but yeah. So gruesome deaths. I was meant to read those. Obviously, that didn't happen, but I think we're okay. We can do without some more gruesome deaths. I'll be back tomorrow. I am on the mend, so hopefully I'll be a little bit more. You know, a little bit more on top of my health tomorrow. But I'm really excited to get back to Gloom of Killforth. Again, I've really enjoyed that game. You know, it is a game like I kind of moved a little bit past like Darkest Night Second Edition, but I do think that Gloom of Killforth has like absolutely killed Darkest Night Second Edition for me going forward. So excited to do that. Thursday and Friday, I'm probably gonna do one deck dungeon, and I forget what I'm planning to do on Friday. So, but whatever. A Spirit Island I moved to next week, so I'm gonna do a Spirit Island and a Maze Night next week, and a couple other things knocking around to see. Sagitt, I'm not really in the target audience here, so you wouldn't even listen. So you shouldn't even listen. Don't enjoy the theme, the color scheme, the design, the mechanisms. Not fond of the company either. So it happens. Not fond of Van Ryder, really. What has Van Ryder done? I don't know. I don't know much about him. I mean, I know. I mean, they make Hostage Negotiator. They make this. AJ seems like a cool dude. I met him in person a couple of times, but yeah, I don't know anything much beyond that. Season 2 is much better. Feel better soon. So I should cross off Hostage Negotiator on your Christmas list. Sagitt. Sagitt says I have a Christmas list. Sagitt says I still like way too many games. It helps a lot if I can reject something so easily. Brian Scully says not anymore. I just crossed it off. And Sagitt, you had a second stream canceled today. No, that is tomorrow. Okay, I did have a second one scheduled today, and I that was ambitious. I had hoped to be feeling better. Um, I am not. So yeah, it's woo. I don't know what I caught, but so we've done the COVID tests and stuff like that. We're in the clear there. I might take another one just to be totally sure, but I mean, I took it like 4 days in, and it was still negative. But yeah, I've been pretty hung up since Friday now, which has been bad. And then the internet being out yesterday, I might have still streamed this yesterday if the internet was working, but that probably would have been a bad idea as well. So internet works. I should be better tomorrow. Gloomy Killforth will be great. Excited to get back to that. And yeah, we'll come back to Final Girl. I don't know, and maybe like 2-3 months again, or maybe like a Halloween thing. I think the next I featured all 5 of the feature films of the first series. There is the vignette from the bird, like the birds vignette. So I want to do that at some point, and then we'll kind of see what I want to do with the game after that. So you know, yeah, if series 2, like I don't know, maybe at some point I'll get a couple of feature films from the second season that just they might. I think mechanically they got a little bit um more interesting and less crazy. Like I just I don't know. I think three of the 4 boxes from season one just feel a lot. There's not a lot of depth as far as like mechanical strategy and stuff, or tactics and strategies. It's just kind of you're just kind of thrown into this a lot of randomness just by how the setup is. And I don't think that's very good. But this must be some lingering effects from the valley last week. Cheers and get better. Thank you, sir. All right. I'm not making any sense. My brain is cloudy as hell. So I'm going to go. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through the sacred groves. Sorry we were not able to, come out victorious unless you're on team in Kanyamba, and then congratulations on your thorough trouncing of Adelaide. But she fought valiantly to the end, did herself proud. We saved 6 of the victims. It's a moral victory. I'll take it. Thanks for joining me, and until next time, happy gaming.
Solo.